Okay. Calling the meeting to order. Sorry for the minor technical difficulties there. It is 6:36 or so p.m. We had some minor technical difficulties, but now we're starting the meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Sean, do you want to lead the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Michelle. Jackie, could you please call the roll?
Yes, Vice Chair. Vice Chair Kratman.
Here.
Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner McMorris.
Here.
And Commissioner Carney.
Here.
Thank you.
And Vice Chair, this evening we do have the city attorney on a virtual call. So we'll be hearing through speakers.
Okay. Good. All right. Today's meeting is live streamed on cable channel 3 and our online platforms. To prevent any overlaps in comments, each commissioner will be called upon to speak. First is the public comment period. This is the time for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on items of interest that are not on the agenda, but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission pursuant to the Brown Act. The Planning Commission cannot answer any questions or take any action until such time as the matter may appear as an item on a future agenda. If you wish to address the Planning Commission, please fill out a speaker card that is available on the back table. Once completed, kindly submit the card to the recording secretary. Speakers will be called to the podium one by one, and each speaker will be given up to 3 minutes to speak. Jackie, do we have any speaker cards?
Vice Chair, we did not receive any.
Okay. Does anybody want to speak on the subject matter that's not on the agenda? Okay, moving on. Okay. Next is the consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar are considered routine, and recommendations will be approved in one motion unless a member of the Planning Commission or audience requests separate discussion. Would any of the commissioners like to pull aside an issue for separate discussion, or no?
No.
Okay. Moving on, we have the meeting minutes from June 9th. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes? Or?
I'll move.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you. Jackie, could you please call the roll?
Vice Chair Kratman.
Yes.
Commissioner Lee.
Yes.
Commissioner McMorris.
I'll abstain, I wasn't here, so.
And Commissioner Carney.
Yes.
Okay, the vote is 3-4. Motion passed.
Thank you, Jackie. So next is the selection of a chair. I have no idea how this is done. So Sam, you can take us through that. I'd appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair and members of the Planning Commission. The procedure for selecting a chair and then a vice chair under item 3 and 4 will go as follow. The vice chair will open the floor and take nominations for chair. And nominations can be made by any member of the commission, and a member can nominate himself. And can also, the presiding vice chair can also be nominated as well. Nominations can also be declined by the nominee, and if the nominee declines a nomination, then the member that did the nominating can either amend their nomination or not nominate. When there are no further nominations, the vice chair will close the nominations and call for a vote. And if there are multiple nominations, the vice chair will call for a vote on each of the nominations in the order that they were made. And then the newly selected chair will preside over the meeting following the selection of the chair. And then the selection of the vice chair will follow the similar procedure.
Thank you. Are there any nominations for the chair?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to nominate you,
Okay.
Mr. Kratman, as chairman.
Thank you. I appreciate that, George.
I second.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay. Sam?
And I don't know if we need a vote. We'll take a vote for this, Jackie.
Okay.
I'll start with Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Commissioner McMorris,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
and you could also vote for yourself. Vice Chair Kratman.
Yes.
Okay, the vote is 4-0, motion passed. Congratulations.
I think thank you.
Do you get to move over to the middle now?
Sure yet.
That's right, that's right.
Do I have to move now?
We'll move you over.
Okay.
Or chairperson.
Your Secret Service detail will be here shortly.
Oh, here we go. It's been a while.
I'm glad you're here. What would we do?
Thank you for coaching me through this. Thank you. I will do my best, and you can kick me under the table if I do something wrong. Okay, so next on the agenda is the selection of the vice chair. Are there any nominations?
I move to nominate Sean for vice chair.
Oh, I'll accept the nomination. That's, yeah.
Okay, then I'll second the nomination. Any other nominations? Anybody interested? No? Okay.
Jackie, if we can
Jackie.
Okay. I'll start with Commissioner Carney again. Commissioner Carney?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner McMorris,
Yes.
and Chair Kratman.
Yes.
Okay, the vote is 4-0, motion passed. Congratulations.
Thank you, commissioners. Appreciate it, though. I think, as you said.
I don't know if you'll be thanking us too many times. All right, all right.
Oh. There's a, there was assigned seating.
order.
I didn't either. I mean, I knew the chairman sat in the middle, but I, oops.
Okay. Well, we've all learned something. Okay, so next is the public hearing section. Sam, could you please go over the public hearing procedures, please?
Yes, thank you, Chairman, and congratulations to Vice Chair McMorris. For the public hearing portion this evening, again, copies of the agenda are available on the city's website at www.sangabrielcity.com and also on the table that's by the entrance. As mentioned, if you wish to speak on an item this evening and are not the project applicant, please fill out a speaker card and submit it to the recording secretary, which is Jackie this evening. Please write down the item number that you would like to speak on, and speakers will be called up one by one to the podium. Each speaker is given up to 3 minutes to speak. There are 4 public hearing items this evening to be considered by the Planning Commission. For each item this evening, staff will provide a summary of the staff report, followed by any clarifying questions from the commission. Prior to the close of the public hearing, the commission may ask questions of staff or the applicant. And then once the public hearing is closed, the opportunity for public comment has ended. With that, Chairman, staff is ready to present item 3A.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you, Chair. The item before you tonight is a request for the approval of a conditional use permit to allow an arcade business at 735 East Valley Boulevard. The subject property is located on the north side of East Valley Boulevard between San Gabriel Boulevard to the east and Lafayette Street to the west. The project site is zoned MUT for mixed-use transit-oriented development within the Valley Boulevard specific plan area. The site has a general plan land use designation of commercial specific plan. The project site is improved with 2 commercial buildings occupied by a total of 9 businesses, which consist of 1 standalone restaurant use, and the rest are a mix of restaurant, retail, and service businesses. The San Gabriel Municipal Code defines an arcade use as any business location in which there are more than 3 coin or token-operated amusement devices or games of skill and science, or any combination thereof. The code also requires the approval of a CUP for an arcade use in any commercial zone. The proposed business is Kawaii Klaws, which has multiple locations throughout California and nationwide. They will be occupying a 1,100 square foot tenant space. The concept of the business is a modern claw machine arcade with a Japanese pop culture design theme. They will also have a retail component selling trending toys and blind boxes and limited edition collectibles. The hours of operation proposed are 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday and 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. This is the proposed floor plan for the business, which will consist of a total of 24 claw machines, counter space at the rear for retail items, and a public restroom. The proposed arcade use requires 1 parking space for every 375 square feet of gross floor area for all general commercial uses in the MUT zone. The previous retail use required the same amount of parking, so there would be no change in the required parking for the proposed use. The site is accessed by a 2-way driveway located along Valley Boulevard, and there are a total of 57 parking spaces that are shared among the 9 existing businesses on site. In terms of compatibility of use, the existing uses on site consist of restaurants, a bakery, a salon, and a photography studio. It is surrounded by similar commercial uses such as retail, restaurants, and service uses. The properties to the north, south, and west are zoned MUT as well, and the property to the east is zoned CCT for commercial center. These are all within the Valley Boulevard specific plan area. Recreation and entertainment uses can be complementary to restaurant and retail uses, which would provide a diversity of options to residents and visitors of the city. The San Gabriel Police Department has reviewed the proposed application and implemented the following conditions of approval: a centrally monitored alarm system installation that would be required for the business. Management should immediately notify the police department of any crimes that occur inside the business location or any other areas under their control of management, and the police department can seek review of any CUP for this location and request a reevaluation for any public safety reasons. One thing I wanted to note also is that condition number 21 under the police department conditions of approval would be removed as it was included by error. Allowing the operation of the proposed business would support economic goals 4.1 and 4.2 of the general plan. The project was reviewed for compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA. The project is exempt per guideline section 15301, which is a class 1 exemption for existing facilities. The public notice was provided through mailed notices to all property owners and tenants within a 300-foot radius. The notice was posted at the project site. Agendas were posted at City Hall, the post office, and the public library, and it was also advertised in the San Gabriel Sun newspaper on July 3rd. With that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution approving planning case number CUP 25-008 for CUP at 735 East Valley Boulevard to allow an arcade business, subject to the recommended conditions of approval. And this concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you very much. All right, does anybody have any clarifying questions for staff?
Is the applicant here?
the applicant is here. I think we start with the staff and then we go to the applicant, so. No. Do you have any questions for staff?
Yes, I have just a quick clarifying questions for the parking requirements. Is it qualify or like, you guys check the parking requirements for this type of a business? It seems to me that that parking, the plaza is pretty packed most of the day, right? And so just want to make sure we are doing the due diligence and fulfilling all the requirements for the parkings.
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner Lee. The Valley Boulevard specific plan requires one space for every 375 square feet of gross floor area for all general commercial uses. So that would be the same as the previous retail use as it is for this arcade business. So there was no change in the parking requirement.
Okay. All right, no further.
Sean? Okay. Thank you, Christine. Are there any public, anybody from the public have any questions? Okay, can the owner please come up? You'll have to bear with me. This is like my second time doing this. It's a bumpy road.
I'm not the owner. I work for the owner. He's currently in China.
Okay.
My name is Glenn.
Hey, Glenn.
Hello. Kawaii Klaws, we've just been around for about 2 years in California. We started in West Covina at our first location, and we've been slowly expanding to other cities. We just opened one in Downey, and we are currently trying to open one in Brea. And so this is our, I believe, will be our 12th location, San Gabriel.
Wow.
We have a few out of state, Texas, Oklahoma. So, yeah, we're excited to be in San Gabriel.
It's the best city there is. So, George, did you have some questions for the applicant? Or?
Not at this moment, no.
Okay. Fang?
Yes, just trying to get a little more information on like the business. Can you enlighten us, like what type of, what is the age group that you're targeting to, like for this type of business?
We usually target all kids. We are adjacent to some restaurants, so you sometimes have to wait for your table to get ready. So we usually have all families come in and play some games. There's also a boba shop next door, and not too far there's a high school. And so we believe we'll probably get, from 3 all the way up to 18. Especially because there's a high school nearby. So I think once they get out and they want to grab themselves a boba and maybe go inside and play in our call machines.
Sure. My daughter will be going down to the Gabriel very soon, so she'll be one of your customers, I would say.
Oh, nice.
So if I say this, like you are targeting the kids, non-driving age, right? So I don't think you'll be. There will be not as much trip generated by your customers to this plaza.
That's correct. We usually are taking advantage of the restaurants nearby and the high school. So it's more like they're trying to kill some time waiting for something, or I don't think people will go specifically for us, but I mean, we have a few locations, so it's pretty spread out. I don't think we'll have to worry about commuting as much.
Okay. What's the idea behind of like a different business hours for the weekdays and weekends?
We're trying to get the youth, so we assume that they're going to be in school during the week. So we will probably open around 2, because that's when most kids get out of school and parents get out of work to go eat, and they're around us. And then the weekend, well, everyone's off, so we open a little bit earlier to take advantage of that.
Is it a usual business hour at your other different sites?
In other locations, we're usually based in malls, and we just work with the mall hours. So whatever the mall hours are is what we usually are.
Okay.
So this is probably one of our first like standalone locations. Most of them are in a mall, or we have another one in like a food court. It's called Haven City, and that's the one in West Covina.
Okay. Okay. No further. Sure.
Commissioner McMorris, do you have any questions?
No questions, just a quick comment. I recently visited Japan, and they have these, they do it big time, and I would say they were all ages. There were adults, there were other, just, you walk by and you're like, oh, it's fun. I'm going to drop in a couple coins and try and get a keychain or something. But yeah, I'm glad that you decided on San Gabriel. It's welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't have any questions.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Is there any other member of the public who would like to address this? Okay. Then I think we can call for a vote. Okay.
I'll move to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay.
So Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Vice Chair McMorris,
Yes.
and Chairman Crabman.
Yes.
So the vote is 4-0, motion passed.
Welcome to San Gabriel. I hope you thrive. Okay, next up is 222 Winchester Place. I don't read the black. All right, Marlon, take us away.
Okay. Good evening, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. The public hearing item before you tonight is for a conditional use permit to allow for a church within an existing commercial building located at 222 Winchester Place, planning case number CUP 23-015. The project site is comprised of 2 adjoining properties totaling approximately 21,000 square feet, located on the east side of Winchester Place between Wedgwood Place to the south and East Live Oak to the north. The subject property is located in the retail commercial or C1 zone and has a general plan land use designation of general commercial. Tianlu Christian Church proposes to occupy the entirety of the structure located at 222 Winchester Place and provide spiritual services to the Chinese community of the San Gabriel Valley. Worship services will be conducted on Sundays from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Tianlu Christian Church also proposes to provide theological training on Friday nights from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. The main assembly area will occupy approximately 664 square feet of the building and feature 15 benches for up to 45 individuals. The remaining area of the building will be occupied for administrative office uses and a vesting room. The project site, again, is comprised of 2 properties, each developed with a single commercial structure and parking lot. 220 Winchester Place measures about 9,000 square feet and is developed with a 703 square foot structure and 14 parking spaces. This property is accessed via Winchester Place from the south, where the public roadway terminates at the lot's southern boundary. 222 Winchester Place is located directly north of 220 Winchester Place. The lot measures 12,000 square feet and is developed with a 2,894 square foot commercial building and is served by an additional 24 parking spaces. Combined, the 2 properties will provide a total of 38 parking spaces. Based on the floor plan, this is more than the required 32 parking spaces. 222 Winchester Place does not have direct street access. Access to the site as well as to the structure is through 220 Winchester Place to the south. For the purpose of granting access and providing sufficient parking, staff is recommending a condition of approval that the 2 properties shall be leased by a single entity and that the structure located at 220 Winchester Place shall only be used as a secondary storage and administrative uses to the church's primary services and activities. The project site is located in a transitional area abutting both commercial and residential uses. Residential uses to the north and to the south of the project site are non-conforming as they are zoned for commercial uses. 222 Winchester Place was previously used as a massage establishment, but has been unoccupied since 2017. 220 Winchester Place was previously used for an adult day health care and has been vacant since 2006, according to city business license records. The applicant is proposing to operate a church at 222 Winchester Place. Other surrounding uses include restaurants, a furniture store, a beauty salon, and a shipping store. The subject properties will provide adequate access and parking for the proposed church, making it compatible with the surrounding commercial uses. Planning staff has included conditions of approval to ensure that the proposed use will be compatible and harmonious with its surrounding uses. Conditions of approval include that no outdoor storage or audio equipment, such as speakers, shall be allowed. The site shall remain free of all junk and debris. Parking lot planters shall be improved with landscaping, and the access gate shall remain open during services. The CUP application, plans, and related materials were also reviewed by the San Gabriel Police Department. To ensure the safety and security of the existing businesses, its patrons, the neighborhood, and the general public, the police department is requiring that the business comply with the following conditions of approval. The police department is requiring the installation of a video surveillance system. Light shall be provided on all exterior aisles and passageways with vandal-resistant covers. The management shall immediately notify San Gabriel Police Department of any crimes that occur inside the location or in any areas under the control of management, or to any patrons of the location or at the request of any patrons of the locations. Management shall immediately notify the San Gabriel Police Department of any crimes that occur inside the location or in any areas. Reading that one again. The police department shall seek a review of any CUP and request reevaluation by the Planning Commission to add security measures for the best interest of public safety. The police department will continuously monitor for criminal activity, loitering, noise, and other nuisance complaints and violation of any conditions of approval. The general plan land use designation for the subject lot is general commercial. This land use designation allows for all uses permitted in the general commercial designation, including retail service, office, recreation/amusement, and other commercial businesses which provide goods and services to the local population, and those businesses which targeted towards visitors and commuters. Additionally, the proposed development meets Community Development Goal 6.11 of the City of San Gabriel General Plan, requiring privately held community facilities to develop in an orderly manner reflective of the community standards. The project was reviewed for compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act and is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act per guideline section 15301 for Class 1 existing facilities. The item was noticed at the project site, advertised in the July 3rd, 2025 edition of the San Gabriel Sun, and a notice was sent to all property owners and tenants within a 300-foot radius. Tonight's agenda was also posted at City Hall, the Post Office, and the Public Library. With that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of San Gabriel approving planning case number CUP 23-015 for a conditional use permit at 222 Winchester Place to allow the operation of a church subject to the recommended conditions of approval. That concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Marlon. Very well done. Are there any questions from the Planning Commission here for Marlon? No? Do you have any questions for Marlon?
I had one question on the condition of approval for that the two properties have to be leased by one entity. I guess, what happens if, so is there a guarantee they can't sell one property to someone else? And then what happens if they do, and is it null and void, or?
At that point, the owner or operator of the church would have to find alternative means of access and parking for the church, because that, if the property were to be sold or occupied by a different tenant, they would no longer have access to the site, as access is through the southern property, and they would no longer have sufficient parking.
Okay, well, I assume the applicant has been given maybe reassurances that is not going to happen in the foreseeable future. So, but yeah, I was just curious how that would work, since that's a condition of approval. So, okay.
It's a good question. Do you have any questions?
Just a clarifying question. I was looking up on Google, and it showed up on the Google map. So has it been, like, is it existing church, or is it just applications to be a church?
It's an application to be a church. Whether or not they've been operating, the applicant can speak to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's currently no active business license at this location.
Okay, no further.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Lee. Now's the time for any public comments. Oh, thank you, Marlon.
Sure.
Now's the time for public comments. Is there any member of the public who would like to come up and address this issue?
Good evening, Chairperson Krapman, Vice Chair McMorris, members of staff. First and foremost, my congratulations to Chairperson Krapman as well as Vice Chair McMorris. Having had this experience in my past as a part of the very first Youth Commission, I won't say the date because that will really provide for a lot of scrutiny as to my.
Hot something.
Well, we use the word antique rather than old, but I won't tell you that it was back in 1970. And so, but certainly as a part of the Planning Commission and Council, congratulations to the support you've received from your colleagues. I know that that's got to be very heartwarming. So, focusing on the project at hand, first of all, thank you very much, Marlon, for your excellent staff report and due diligence throughout this whole process. We've worked hard at putting together, and certainly Samantha has been a part of this and providing direction with a number of challenges with this specific project, only pertaining to the land use and the associated properties. So to answer Commissioner Lee's question related to, and certainly I think Vice Chair McMorris related to the tenant application and the associated lease, we have confirmed that the lease is now obligated to both the tenants for the parcels as well as Embassy Suites. So it's all connected together. So nothing can be separated without, you know, an actual, let's say, break in the lease, and certainly that is not anticipated. We have with us this evening members of their executive team, which includes the pastor as well as the tenant. We also have with us tonight the architect who is responsible for the footprint of what we see today as a part of this project. We have reviewed all of the conditions of approval, and we agree to all of those proposed conditions. So again, thank you very much for considering this project, and we remain available to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, David. Do any of the commissioners have questions for the applicant? No. Okay. Do you want to make a motion? Okay.
All right, I'll move to approve the application.
I can second.
Thank you, Sean.
Okay, Commissioner Carney,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Vice Chair McMorris,
Yes.
and Chair Krapman.
Yes.
So the vote is 4-0, motion passed.
Thank you. All right. Next up on the agenda is 132 West Las Tunas Drive. Take it away.
Thank you, Chair.
Sure.
Conditional use permit 25007 is a request for a CUP amendment to allow auto repair services for an existing used auto dealership at 132 West Las Tunas Drive. The project site is located on a 10,260 square foot parcel located on the south side of West Las Tunas Drive between North San Marino Avenue to the west and North Del Mar Avenue to the east. The subject property is zoned C1 for retail commercial and has a general plan land use designation of general commercial. The property is developed with a 1,040 square foot office building and has a total of 42 striped parking spaces currently. The applicant has been operating their used auto dealership since November 2024 after receiving approval for conditional use permit number CUP 24-007. The current request is to add in-house auto repair services, and the code requires a CUP for any motor vehicle repair and maintenance uses. The proposed auto repair service use would be for in-house repairs only, to service the vehicles for sale and would not be open to the public. The applicant proposes to install one car lift and a smog check station at the rear of the property, which would be fully enclosed with a new metal roll-up door. The hours of operation would remain unchanged, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is the proposed floor plan and a photo of the proposed auto repair area at the back. It's within an existing covered area that was previously likely used for parking. The site is accessed via a driveway located on the east side of the property along West Las Tunas Drive. There's 11 parking spaces in the front and 31 additional parking spaces at the back. The rear parking spaces are mainly used to park the vehicles for sale. The San Gabriel Municipal Code Section 153.220 requires that a automobile dealership provides one parking space for every 2,000 square feet of floor area, and for automotive repair, it requires 2 parking spaces plus 3 spaces for each service bay. 1 parking space is required for the existing dealership, and 5 parking spaces would be required for the proposed auto repair use. And given that they have 11 parking spaces in the front, that would cover the total required parking spaces for both uses on site. The project site is Zone C1. It's surrounded by uses such as an automotive repair shop just across the street. There is a nail salon, a church, and a bank surrounding the property. The properties to the north and south are Zone C1 and R3 respectively, and properties to the west and east are Zone C1 as well. The existing auto repair shop located across the street at 125 West Las Tunas Drive has been there for many years. There's an additional existing auto repair shop located down the street at 433 West Las Tunas Drive. And the proposed auto repair service use wouldn't be provided to the public, so there are no anticipated impacts to traffic or parking on site. The San Gabriel Police Department reviewed the proposed application and had the following conditions of approval. All auto repair services should take place inside the building. No outside storage of equipment, parts, or materials shall be permitted. The applicant shall post signage on the property for vehicle code enforcement and no trespassing. And the police department can seek review of any CUP to request reevaluation for public safety. In terms of general plan consistency, it would meet economic goals 4.1 and 4.2. The project was reviewed for compliance with CEQA and is found exempt per guideline section 15301, Class 1 existing facilities. The public notice was provided by mailing notices to all property owners and tenants within a 300-foot radius. The notice was posted at the project site, and the agenda was posted at City Hall, the post office, and the public library, and it was also advertised in the San Gabriel Sun newspaper on July 3rd. And with that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve planning case number CUP 25-007 for a conditional use permit amendment at 132 West Las Tunas Drive to allow auto repair services for an existing used auto dealership, subject to the recommended conditions of approval. And that concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Very well done. Are there any questions?
Just, I think I heard it right, but let me clarify. This is not an auto repair business open to the public. This is strictly to repair the dealership's own vehicles. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any questions?
And just a confirmation, I heard that the servicing is one part, the other part is a small check, right? The small check stations are for public or just for dealership use only, do you know?
Just for dealership use only.
Okay, both services, okay.
yes.
Okay. And just wondering, like, since, like, the servicing requires the storage of chemicals and then oils and stuff, but do does the city have a requirements to like pull different permits to handling of the chemicals?
I'm unaware if the city has specific requirements for that, but I know there are state and federal requirements for that should be complied with.
Okay,
Would you-
just wondering,
Commissioner
yeah.
Lee, typically, depending on the quantity, that's something that's reviewed by the fire department as well.
Okay, just just thinking out loud that since it requires handling of the chemicals, so it might require additional permits or something like that, right? So, yeah, no further, Chair.
I'm not sure if this is a question for staff or the applicant. I just wondered, have they, because they're going to be having equipment and vehicles there, have they tested the weight load of the concrete and whatnot that's there already, or are there plans to, it looks pretty torn up, you know, I can see grass coming through in parts. Are there plans to redo that and do it at a load that could potentially, you know, be much more structurally sound to hold those vehicles and do some mitigation to prevent seepage of, you know, the solvents and oils and chemicals that could go into the ground, or typically do at places like this?
I'll need to defer that question to the applicant, but in terms of structural integrity, that would be reviewed during plan check by the building division.
Okay. Thank you, Christine. All right, now is the time for public comment. Is there a member of the public who would like to address this?
Hi, I'm Michael Chu from Hannon Development, the applicant. Congratulations, Chairman Chapman, and congratulations, Vice Chair McMorris, and good evening, planning commissioners and staff. Thank you for approving the CUP last year, and since then it's been challenging for them to service cars and to maintain cars and to inspect cars since then. So that's one of the main reasons why a lift is needed. It's safer for their employees. It's easier access for everyone. And I wanted to emphasize that this service is not for the public. It's solely just for their own cars to prepare them for sale. I wanted to highlight that the rear parking area is subterranean. It's about 10 feet lower than the Chase Bank. And the Chase, it's pretty much surrounded by block wall. So it's quite private back there. And also I wanted to emphasize too that with regards to engineering, we're providing structural engineering for the foundation of the lift to ensure that it's capable of sustaining, supporting the cars. And the photographs that you see are photographs that were taken prior to the first CUP. That's why there were weeds and all that stuff, since it's been cleaned up since then. And then my client also agrees with all the conditions of use, by the fire department and the police. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, any questions?
Yeah, I have.
Excuse me, can you come back?
Yeah. Given that they'll be using chemicals and solvents back there, I know even if they've cleaned that up, would the applicants be willing to at least cover with a polyurethane, something that would help prevent seepage of any of the oils and solvents and chemicals that get used into the ground? I know they're going to be probably digging up to do a lift for some portion there, but is that something they'd be willing to do as a condition of approval, would be to at least put some mitigating coverage over the existing, pretty badly damaged concrete there to mitigate that seepage.
You know, because you almost have to tear the whole slab out in order to put the lift in. I don't feel my client has any, they won't object to providing some type of sealer for the concrete.
Yeah.
That's a fairly simple application.
Okay, a sealer that would,
Yeah,
prevent
surrounding,
specifically seepage from those types of chemicals.
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
Okay.
That's
I
quite
would
simple to
appreciate
do.
that, yeah.
Okay.
Are there any other questions for the applicant?
Not for me, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So Jackie, were there any public comments on this at all?
Chair, we did not receive any.
Oh, sorry, we did have one. Sorry about that, Jackie. Let's see, it is a comment not in support submitted by Hayden Las Tunas LLC, the Chase Bank property. And generally, it states, owner of adjoining parcels has concerns about the hazardous waste and noise, ammunitions from the proposed use, and our tenants are also concerned about the quiet enjoyment of the property. And that concludes the comments.
Okay.
Can you clarify the person making that comment, are the tenants of the bank and its associated stores and businesses? Is that the next door neighbors, in other words?
The name indicated on the comment is Hayden Las Tunas LLC dash Chase Bank property.
Okay, I'm going to assume that's what they're talking about then.
I would assume that's the neighbor.
That's correct.
Okay.
So would anybody like to start with some discussion and deliberation? George?
Well, it seems that the objection or the concern is noise and pollution. I don't see, from what I've heard, I don't see that is a very major concern. The business, I think we approved this a year ago, and it's been there, the car sales thing has been there all along, is that right? Have there been any problems, that anybody's aware of, any problems of noise or pollution or anything like that?
No calls received.
Okay.
Okay.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes, there's one mechanic shop nearby, right? And then this proposed project is not for the public, so I don't see that it's gonna create much of a traffic issues, no noise. And this is a busy Las Tunas area. What I'm trying to say is the environment and that the nature of the business not providing services to the general public. So I'm not saying that the complaint is totally wrong. What I'm saying is I feel comfortable to approve to move forward.
I agree.
Commissioner McMorris?
I appreciate the comments from the member of the public. Sounds like they are owners of the adjacent property. I think those are valid concerns. I think that in general, I don't know, I mean, I guess I could ask, is there anything, in terms of the air pollution, is there anything that could be done to, I see there's a wall already across most of that adjacent property. I see some windows from the bank and portions of it. I don't know if there's any mitigating factors that can be incorporated to prevent any exhaust from going over there, but I do appreciate the applicant being willing to do some mitigation to prevent seepage into the ground, which could then result in vapors coming up in adjacent buildings. So if they're willing to accept that amendment and apply appropriate topping to that concrete, I think I'm okay with it. I don't know, I'm open to ideas if there's other things that can be done in terms of the exhaust or how likely it is to go over into the adjacent properties or not, so.
Yes, members of the Planning Commission, we're trying to get the audio for the city attorney here.
Got it.
But he did send me a quick email just to get some comments across. Essentially, Martin has stated that environmental concerns are preempted by state and federal laws, and there are regulations for the handling of chemicals and waste oil that the city does not regulate, and that all operations are required to be in compliance with all laws, and that should address the requirements.
Thank you, Samantha.
Chair, can I?
Yes?
Can we bring up the applicants and ask a couple of questions?
Sure. Would you like to come back up, please? Sure. Why not?
Yes, good evening, members of our commission. My name is Catherine, the CEO of the AutoStar Motors. So actually, I flew from my headquarters in San Jose this afternoon to try to see if I can answer your questions. Okay.
Okay, you have a question? Go ahead.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Thank you. So my question is just trying to see how the concern is about the pollutions and then the chemical seepage and stuff, right? So can you address to that matter, right? How much of the work you are expecting to do at the site, right? Since knowing you're not providing a general service to the public.
Correct.
Right? So what is your expectant, like, I don't want to use it like a pollution level, right? But how much services that you're going to be doing, and how much do you think you're going to make that much of a smog out into the air? And then talking about the chemical, how much do you think is going to, how much impact is going to have to the surrounding?
Okay, thank you for Commissioner Lee to raise the question. So I can answer in 3 different levels. One is for the hazardous and or whatever chemical, oil, or whatever materials that as a licensed dealership that has been in this industry for 10 years, that we have already equipped all the necessary license or regulations. For example, we have applied the EPA number, which is required by the federal law. Is the Environmental Protection Agency. We have in our in my San Jose location, we have been doing cooperate with this agency for more than 10 years. So for those, for example, the waste oil change, that we will ask this agency to kind of recycle for us. So this is the one thing. And for the engineering, my architect has already addressed, we try to protect the, to put some seal on the ground to prevent from any oil that's sucked into the soil, for example, to try to protect the lot. And also for the quiet regulations that because at the first we adjust the in-house repair. We don't do any of the body work or painting, and we only, for example, we do some engine swap or the transmission repair or some electrical repair something, so which will normally generate very little noise, almost no noise that we repaired at our rear lot that our adjacent neighbor or the front yard will hear of that. So this is one thing, and also what else? The smoke test. So Ms. Lee mentioned the smoke test. We are a licensed smoke test station, but we only test for the vehicles that after year 2000, which means we only use a cart with a portable computer and the scanner. We don't use the kind of a roller that built in the ground to kind of generate some noise and pollution. So those are very advanced equipment, has almost no air pollution and noise at all. Yeah, so I wonder if I answered all your questions.
Just a quick follow-up. Can you quantify, like how much work you're gonna be doing? Like how many vehicles you might be working on every day?
You mean the repair or the smog?
Repair.
Repair.
And or smart.
Okay, so according to our current operation, so normally 30 vehicles per month. So maybe only 1 or 2 at most per day that we'll do.
That needs a major work?
The major work is to sell cars.
Okay.
So at the rear yard, we try to upgrade by fixing some parts of the vehicle, try to help sell high and also make a more profit, something. Yeah.
No further.
Had a follow-up.
You said that your engineer had already put some mitigating measures. Have they torn up any of the concrete yet or anything? I thought I heard you say your engineer had already either put something in place to mitigate the potential seepage or leakage from the chemicals, or is planning to, or has recommended. I wasn't clear on that.
So Michael.
I think she meant just, we're planning to.
Oh, we're planning
Yeah,
to.
we haven't done anything to the building physically,
Okay.
except for move-in, since last year.
So I just wanted to clarify what you're okay
Yeah,
with then.
yeah.
So the polyurethane or something covering, but did she also mention something like a vapor barrier? Or was she just referring to, I don't know what her engineer already recommended.
I think two things. So engineers want structural, more structurally based, and
Yeah.
then on my side, on the architecture side, the vapor barrier is almost like a polyurethane membrane anyway.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
Same thing, yeah, okay. And if they're okay with that, then I'm,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
we're fine with that.
I think she mentioned something in regard to like EPA requirements, and you guys are complying with the federal and state regulations, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one more thing is that we are planning in this application is we are planning to install a roll gate on the repair area to make the car lift is kind of in-house, inside. Yeah, try to make less noise and also protect the community quiet enjoyment more. So this is what our effort we wanted to do.
Thank you very much for bringing your building
Okay.
to San Gabriel.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much for all
Thank
your
you.
commitment. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm fine.
all right. George, you have any comments for?
Just to clarify, for my own understanding, did our attorney tell us that all of this, the environmental concerns that were raised are covered by state and federal regulations that really aren't our place to regulate one way or the other?
Yes, thank you so much for summarizing that, Commissioner Carney.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to clarify that. So really, we can't ask the applicant to do any of that type of thing?
We can ask of the applicant to be in compliance with state and federal
Oh, okay.
regulations.
All right, thank you. That's what I needed to know. Thanks.
Any other comments?
That means, my understanding that they are have to be in compliance with how they dispose of all of those materials, but requesting they put a vapor barrier, that's in addition to, we can do that, right? We're not prevented from requesting that they do that as a condition of approval?
Not as a condition of approval, because then it puts the responsibility of the monitoring and the confirming onto the city, as opposed to all the standards being looked at by, again, the state and federal regulations.
So what kind of a motion would I need to, if they were in agreement to do something like that?
Yes, then on record, the applicant has stated that they are in agreement with providing a sealant on the ground.
Okay.
And that does not need to be an added condition of approval.
So I don't need to make an amended motion?
Oh. Yes.
Yes.
Can you put a mic on it?
Yes.
Chris, audio.
Yes. No, I can't hear you guys. Anyway, if you can hear me, we can request or ask the applicant to put a sealer on the floor or vapor barrier, but it should not be a condition of approval. If it's a condition of approval, it implies that it resolves the issue. And if there's a leak or something happens, it puts the city in a position where our condition of approval could be said to have been all that the applicant needed to do. It shifts some responsibility on the city, whether or not that condition was sufficient under the circumstances. So it is my recommendation that we can ask the applicant to put a sealer on the floor. And every good shop, everybody that works in automotive will do that anyway, because it is a lot easier to clean, it is a lot easier to maintain, having a floor that has a impermeable layer on top of it. But I would recommend against making that a formal condition of approval in approval of this project.
Follow up. So, Mr. City Attorney, then that's them just saying on the record that they're agreeable to that is enough? We don't need to do anything else, is what you're recommending?
I'm recommending that, yes, we take them on their word.
Okay.
And that there's really not, it should not be a formal condition of approval.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Okay, any other questions or comments? My comments are that, servicing vehicles is part of a dealership, and you need to be able to do it to provide the service, and you've brought your business here, and we're grateful for that. So I think this is having a service department to make sure that your vehicles are sound and desirable to the public is a good thing, and we should approve it. So thank you for making this improvement to your property. Okay. All right. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that we approve the application.
Okay.
I second.
For the vote, Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Vice Chair McMorris,
Yeah, I appreciate the applicant's willingness to do some mitigating measures for the chemicals and solvent. I vote to approve.
and Chair Kropman.
Yes.
So the vote is 4-0, motion passed.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. A speaker's card. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, next up. Take it away, Marlon.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. The public hearing item before you tonight is for a zone text amendment relating to new state law for housing development in residential zones. So for some background, Senate Bill 9 took effect on January 1st of 2022. At this time, the City of San Gabriel adopted an ordinance complying with the Senate bill to allow for urban lot splits and urban dwelling units in the city's single-family residential zones. Urban lot splits allow for a single-family residential property to be subdivided not to exceed a ratio of 60-40 and no less than 1,200 square feet for a maximum of 2 total lots. Each lot would also be allowed a total of 2 units, including any existing single-family homes, accessory dwelling units, or urban dwelling units. An urban dwelling unit is a residential unit that is a maximum of 800 square feet in size and subject to the same development standards as an accessory dwelling unit. The original ordinance also included certain restrictions for demolition and alteration of existing dwelling units when an SB 9 project was proposed. This includes housing that is subject to a recorded covenant, ordinance, or law that restricts rents to levels affordable to persons of moderate, low, or very low income, housing that is subject to any form of rent or price control, or housing that has been occupied by a tenant in the last 3 years. It also restricted the demolition of more than 25% of the existing exterior structural walls of any dwelling unit. Senate Bill 450 became effective on January 1st of this year, removing the restriction that a proposed urban dwelling unit or urban lot split shall not require the demolition of more than 25% of existing structural walls. Housing units meeting one of the 3 previously listed criteria would remain protected from demolition. In compliance with state law, staff is recommending the removal of the restriction on demolition from the urban dwelling unit and urban lot split section of the San Gabriel Municipal Code. The proposed amendments were reviewed for compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Section 15061B3 of the CEQA guidelines. The amendment to a zoning ordinance is not considered a project as defined in Section 15378 and can be seen with certainty that it will not have a significant effect on the environment. The proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance qualifies for the CEQA exemption as there is no possibility that the ordinance will have a significant effect on the environment as it amends the city's municipal code to demonstrate compliance with state law. The item was advertised in the June 19th, 2025 edition of the San Gabriel Sun. Tonight's agenda was also posted at City Hall, the Post Office, and the Public Library. With that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution of the Planning Commission to the City of San Gabriel, recommending that the City Council adopt an ordinance of the City Council of the City of San Gabriel amending Title 15, Chapter 153 Zoning Code in response to Senate Bill 450 relating to housing development in residential zones. That concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you very much, Marlon.
Sure.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Carney, do you have any questions?
Just to clarify, all we're really doing is changing our municipal code to conform to state law.
Yeah, just striking out that one section.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Lee, do you have any questions?
Yes. I have a couple kind of like questions got confused with. So what we are trying to do is like Commissioner Kearney said, is question, we are just adopting what the state law is, and then we are adding or modifying slightly to the state law. Is that what we are trying to do?
So previously, we adopted an ordinance complying with the original Senate Bill 9, which allowed for urban lot splits and urban dwelling units. In there was a provision or a prohibition on demolition of anything exceeding 25% of an existing structure. Mm-hmm. What this amendment does is just removes that from the code in compliance with the new Senate bill that was passed late last year.
Entirety.
Yes. Let me go back to this one here. So it removes, if you look at the lower section where it says demolition and alteration restrictions, it removes basically that last bullet point. The first 3 would still be in our ordinance as they still comply with state law. You're still not allowed to demolish any housing unit that's under rent control, has an affordability covenant, or was occupied by a tenant in the last 3 years.
Okay. Do we still have like flexibility to recommend or modify or nothing?
I would think that you can make modifications so long as they don't
Conflict with the state?
conflict with state law, yes.
Okay. So I basically like read through the Senate bill and pretty detailed, right? It is pretty detailed. It talks about the lot size cannot be less than 40%. But when I read that, like, it comes to my mind is, what if the lot is a weird angle or weird geometry or weird shape, right? Then do we have flexibility to mandate not to allow subdivisions, right? Because like sometimes like when you have a weird shape and it doesn't make sense to subdivide, right? The other one is like the setbacks. The state law talk about 4 feet setbacks and then clearance and stuff, right? Our city have different setbacks, if I understand clearly, right? So do we have flexibility to kind of like edit on it, like, hey, the current city codes will apply to the permits applications, right? And then the other question is kind of like ministerial, like property tax. What is going to happen to the property after subdivide? What are going to register in the county, and then it becomes a separate unit, right? And then it requires a different driveway entrance? Or is it gonna have to share, or like, like sometimes you have different units but sharing one driveways, right? Is it going to happen like that, right? So all these questions pop up, right? So I'm not quite sure, do we have that flexibility to recommend the city council to kind of look into those?
So just to clarify a few items, the ordinance that allows for the urban lot splits, that's already in place. That was adopted in 2022.
Okay.
So these are already allowed in the city of San Gabriel and across the state. As far as what happens when a property is subdivided, it becomes reassessed by the county assessor and assessed based on lot size, any improvements that have been made to the lot, including existing structures or any new structures that then get built. As far as access to the rear lot, I think I understand the type of configuration that you're describing. What we require for access to, say, a rear lot, if a lot has been subdivided that has no direct street access, is that there be an easement through the front lot for access to the rear lot. So we're not creating essentially a flag lot that creates a driveway that is only accessible to the rear lot. It's basically a shared driveway to provide access to both the front lot and the rear lot.
Okay, so that's been our practice so far.
Yes, and however, we currently have not approved any requests of this type. We have 2 applications that are currently being reviewed. However, they have not been, they're not complete applications, so they have not been, the maps creating the subdivisions have not been finalized. No.
Okay, so the applications for subdivisions is under the review, but all the junior ADUs or ADUs are not under this category.
I don't understand your question.
So we've been permitting like a lot of like additional dwelling units, right?
Yeah.
ADUs, but this bill, Senate bill, talk about that as well.
In that, they're counted towards the total unit count for what's allowed on each lot. So after a subdivision, the total number of maximum units that are allowed on each lot is 2. So
Two, yeah.
essentially, a lot that currently exists can be subdivided, and that same area could have a total of 4 units, 2 on each lot. That does include new or existing accessory dwelling units, the single-family home, and what is also called an urban dwelling unit, which is similar to an accessory dwelling unit. The reason for that is because you're only allowed 1 accessory dwelling unit per lot, so to allow for the second unit, we've created the urban dwelling unit.
Okay, thank you for being patient with me, Martin.
Sure.
Just trying to think about what would happen, right, if a property got subdivided, and then years down the road, that subdivided property want to get it subdivided, does it apply to this law, or do you know of?
There is a restriction that prohibits lots that have been split or created using this bill to be further subdivided.
Cannot be.
No.
First, okay,
Cannot be further subdivided.
all right, thank you.
Commissioner McMorris? Okay. Very thorough. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. It seems to me very straightforward. We're just bringing ourselves into compliance with the state law. So,
Exactly.
do I have a motion?
Once again, I will move to approve.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Before we
Yes.
vote,
Oh.
did we ask for public comment on this?
Is there any public comment on this, Jackie?
we did not receive any public comment, Chair.
There's nobody left in the room, Martin.
Thank you. I just
Thank you.
wanna- I appreciate it, thanks.
Okay, let's start again. Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Vice Chair McMorris,
Yes.
and Chairman Crabman.
Yes.
So the vote is 4-0, motion passed.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Okay. Okay, now is the time for comments from the planning manager.
Yes, thank you, Chairman, members of the commission. The only comment from staff would be to announce that there is a vacancy on the Planning Commission, and applications are open until August 1st. So anybody who is interested in submitting an application, I believe applications are processed electronically. It is available on the city's website. I think a quick search, or if not, and there's difficulties in finding it, the city clerk's office is very helpful in guiding anybody who would like to submit. But again, for the next 2 weeks, applications are open. And that's it for staff.
Next is commissioner comments. Each commissioner may address the commission on matters of general information or concern. This is also the time for commissioners to report on conferences and/or meetings they may have attended. Any?
Just quickly, because I was absent at the last meeting, I just want to send my condolences to Jerry Schwartz, Commissioner Schwartz's wife and family, and recognize his really extensive contributions to the community and up here on the Planning Commission. He was here long before any of us here now were here, and so he will be missed.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, I feel him present. Okay, so this will adjourn the Planning Commission meeting to the regular meeting of the Planning Commission on Monday, August 11th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall, 425 South Mission Drive, second floor, Council Chambers. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Okay, thank you, Martin.
Thanks, Martin.
Sure. All right.